See, one thing that you will learn very quickly is that if you are somewhat an intellectual or an independent thinker, you learn that a lot of people do not think for themselves. And we like to accuse women of doing this. And I believe women tend to be more group minded. Women don't make independent decisions. If her girlfriends like a certain thing, she's going to buy that certain thing. But it's becoming more commonplace for men as well to be grouped into certain ways of thinking. It's like there's groups and then you divide men and you put them into those groups. The independent thought is lacking. Men are not thinking independently. I think there's a beautiful thing that's occurred in terms of male spaces, manosphere, MGTOW, men going their way, save yourself, black men, all these spaces, okay? Whatever it is that you're doing. But these are reactive philosophies. I am reacting to a situation that's not in favor of my well-being. So what if you start to find solace with other men that think the way you do, and you create a creed, you lose the independent element of actualization. There's something powerful about men that I discover when I travel who are not caught up in any philosophy, whether it's MGTOW. They may exhibit those MGTOW traits. Like I met a man in Vietnam and he just do his own thing, but I could call it MGTOW. But if that man was listening to some type of podcast, he would class himself as that. But because he's not, he's undiluted in his thought process. And I appreciated that. We are getting more and more people to think the same way and be fake. And the sad part, and this is the part that I'm fearful of, is that because there's a lot of reaction channels, because there's a lot of these manosphere channels, whatever, I think men need a voice for sure, because there's a lot of these feminine channels. People will have to fabricate stories. Ladies, it's like, like the Me Too movement, right? Initially maybe there was one or two situations or three or four that were true and genuine. Then after that, people start to say, hey, wait a minute, I could say the same thing too. And I'm going to get a reward for my story. So now ladies got empowered to just lie on men. And lying on men has been profitable since then. It has not ceased to be profitable. A lot of ladies to get away, whether it's in a paternity situation, laws have not been reversed. Ladies to get away with paternity fraud. You marry the guy who's the geek and you go screw the guy who's a jock. You know what I mean? So what has occurred is that the genuineness of humanity is being depleted. The authenticity of storytelling is being diminished. Why? Because when people are in a space where they stand to profit, whether it's MGTOW channels, whether it's Sure 7, they're gonna sit there and like, how can I make this more juicy? How can I make this more captivating? How can I make this story more applicable to everybody? So we're looking at civilization as it stands right now. It's gonna it's gonna be a bland dish. It's gonna be a dish without seasoning. People are just gonna be mimicking each other. I already see it on Facebook. We're already seeing it with the Instagram. We saw the whole Kim Kardashian look, the whole baddie aesthetic. Even the whole thing about how men were doing there was a period of time Instagram was all about those quotes about men, becoming a certain aesthetic. It's got a Lamborghini outside and there's snow, there's a leopard, there's a fireplace. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So men unwillingly, without an understanding, have been led to a place where they have no original thought. because we are all online. So we're subjugated to certain concepts and ideologies and people that don't have any uniqueness to them. And unfortunately, certain subject matters do garner more money, monetization. So as a business person, because some of these content creators become literally our business people, you're going to look at what's working. When I talk about this thing, it works a whole lot. When I talk about this thing, it don't work. So because people desire that which is easy, it's a lot easier to make content than to go outside and bust your ass. I'm not saying making content is easy. It does require effort, but there's degrees of effort. So we've come to a place where curated content is not going to be as beneficial as people think. I think it's important to have these discussions. Whether it's single motherhood, I believe that, whether it's, fatherless homes, all those things, it's important to have these discussions and react to the stories, But even then, I think that even when ladies are getting on there saying, she knows what she look like. We all know what we look like. I know women are more delusional than ever before. But a woman says, I desire a man who makes $500,000 a year. I believe that some of that is just baiting, rage bait, because it gets a reaction. So then everybody gets on there and reacts to it. It's so non-productive. So non-productive. People react to it and then they get paid by YouTube or whatever platform they're on. And then somebody else comes along and says, you know what? I dumped this man after he dropped the whole bag on me. He flew me out and I went and screwed my baby daddy. And everybody reacts to it. So we are being led into a place where, yes, it may seem like these are genuine topics and genuine conversations, but the authenticity is going to die because people gravitate towards that which works. And the infotainment has been brought to a whole different level where information is just purely for entertainment reasons. Short clips about people having random sex outside in the park, short clips about some young girl showing her coochie on Facebook. That's become normative, So I think that one of the biggest healing journey one can take, men and women more so because women tend to be so obsessed with social media, but it's to abstain from all this media because these mediums are controlling how we think and shaping the world which we live. A lot of people have not experienced the things that they speak of, but they'll speak on them with such confidence. Men are creeps. All men just want to grape. Come on now. And then the reactions to that information is such a front. So I believe that there's going to be, and then there's a competition of AI mimicking that and making that. So, all these content creators that have positioned themselves to be the authority on certain subjects and matters will have to create content, react to content. So if the originator of the content is faking it, and then the reaction is not based on truth, you won't have a fake word, or this already become a fake word. And then you go add the AI layer to it. Yeah, that's why mainstream media became very, very fake and very choreographed. And I do believe that even professional sports is choreographed, not just the WWE, but the NBA, the NFL, baseball. I believe it's all just now. Even the FIFA World Cup, I believe. That's my take, okay? So why do they do that? Because then you can script everything. Everything's a stage. So men and women, boys and girls, they're being shepherded into this environment where they make content. Because what you got to do, whatever doesn't meet whatever algorithm, you don't monetize it. You don't give them money. And then whatever meets the whatever standard, you give it money. That's controlling everybody. So the fakeness, the falsehood, the delusionment is a new way. Add the AI layer to it because people want to produce music that's fake, that's AI. People want to produce images of themselves that they can put on dating platforms. That's AI. Women have always done makeup, but now they can use AI. So they don't mind telling the lie. And men and women will do that. People present content in a way that's not true. And that's everybody's eating off the fake tree, the tree of fakeness. So nobody's going to eat the truth.